What is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, as promised, we're going to be going over all of the best characters that you need to know and that we should be talking about when it comes to the upcoming Black Cat Trials. That's going to be about in a week and a half. Now, for those of you who are veterans, you probably already have a whole swath of these characters available to you, but if you're not, then hopefully this video will help you decide which characters that you want to use, and also if you need to build some of these that you maybe might not have already, then I can hopefully put you on the right path. Now, there is a lot of characters, so this is a quasi-tier list, but realistically, I'm not going to be talking about every single character because in one trait, honestly, there's like 50 of them. So we'll be going over them, I'll be showing you them as well, but we're only going to be talking about some of the best characters that you can use, and I've also included a few extras for those who are probably going to ask questions about these characters anyways, and I'll give my thoughts on that. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Now, first off, before we get started, if you've been living under a rock, didn't watch my blog videos, or didn't watch anyone else's blog video for that matter, then you may or may not know what the actual restrictions are for the Black Cat trial. So we're going to go over this very quickly here. Now, up to difficulty 4, they're pretty much, it's pretty standard. They do keep the Brawler tag and the Controller tag, but it's not more specific until difficulty 5 and beyond. That being said, you do need to get 400k, I think it is, to qualify for the ranking threshold to get the payouts. Now, from my understanding, from what I remember from Nova, I'm not sure if you were able to do this with even high difficulty 4 Scourges. I think you actually pretty much had to dip into difficulty 5 in order to get there. So they made it so it's not as easy as it was for the Horseman characters to unlock them on the first go. So let's talk about this. We have, so for everyone else, we're gonna be talking about in this video, Nowhere, Sinister 6 for nodes 2, 6, and 10. Now the thing about 3 nodes instead of 2 from the Horseman is that sometimes that node 10 is actually pretty challenging. When it came to the Nova trials, I actually did a D8 9-node run with Scourges. I did not clear the 10th node. I probably could have if I wanted to, create some serious headache for myself and restart and after restart, RNG, that kind of thing. But I just didn't have the patience for that. So I just went with a high Scourge D8 9-node run, and that meant I only needed to do 2 nodes. The problem here is because if anyone dies on the second node, then you're basically going into mission 10, with one less ideal character, for example, which makes it very challenging. But otherwise, we have Mystic Villain, we have Global Controller, and Brawler, and then this gets repeated. So 2 nodes of each of these, and some of them do actually overlap, and we'll talk about those as well. So let's get things started. I've done this in a bit of a table fashion. Yes, I've only included a few of them. Let's just right off the bat get this out of the way. Nowhere, Sinister 6. So what am I doing? Well, I've mentioned this before in my videos. I don't actually have Nowhere unlocked. Sorry, I do have them unlocked. I don't have them built. That's what I meant to say. I do have Nova maxed out, though. And I think that, you do have to have them. No questions asked. I think if you don't have Nova, this is going to be a seriously challenging trials for you, and I don't know how many people are going to pass it. So I do have Nova. He is a 6-star. Gear tier 17, level 95. He's pretty beefy. So that's the, I'm going to use him, of course. And I never said I wasn't going to. I just don't have the rest of the team. So I am doing a combination of Nova and Sinister 6. Now, I don't necessarily recommend doing this, but this is just what I'm doing. So as some of you may know, I do have a maxed out Swarm. I'm going to be using Doc Ock, and then I'm going to be using Electro and probably Green Goblin. I'm probably going to bump him up to, I'm probably just going to do this right now. I'm going to bump him up to Gear Tier 14 because I think that's where a lot of the stats kick in. I got a fair bit of a bump there, actually, in terms of the overall stats. The damage went through the roof. Actually, he gained like 25% damage just from that upgrade alone. So Gear Tier 14 is often where a lot of the rework stats actually kick in at, which is a little bit unfortunate. So for older rework characters, I don't know why this was a thing, but it was. And so that's what you kind of need to do. And I'll probably, we're just going to do this on Electro as well. Why not? I have lots of orange gear, so that's not a big deal. So, fortunately, Electro does fall down a lot Her stats, especially hit points, is nowhere near it, but I'm hoping that I can at least get difficulty 7 done on this. We'll see what I end up doing, but I just don't have the gold to do nowhere right now. But this is the optimal, obviously, and the rumor that I've heard is that War Text could be active in the same way that Cosmic Crucible text was active for the Nova trials to give Masters of Evil that bump. So Nowhere could get an even more significant bump. That being said, Sinister Six does have War Text as well. So I don't think I'm going to get super crushed, and I'm looking forward to doing actual recorded runs of this to show all those naysayers that Swarm is actually going to rule the roost, because I don't know why I made a chicken reference. Look at those stats. 1.3 million and 95,000 damage. You know, that's so close to 1337, but hey. I'm really impressed with my Swarm, and just to compare it with Nova, it's actually not, I mean, obviously Nova's going to be a bit better, and his kit's better, but yeah, he's actually got a higher damage stat than Nova, but Nova has a crap ton of health, so there is that. Nova's actually going to synergize quite well with Sinister Six as well, because they do have the, his Nova Force gives deflect, which helps for Sinister Six when they block, when Doc Ock blocks, and he heals everyone else. So looking forward to this anyways. I just wanted to show people what I was doing before we move on. So let's talk about the first major trait anyways, which is going to be Villain Mystic. Now, these are the characters that I think are the best. There's 24 total. The irony is that it also includes hand characters. There's a lot of garbage, bogus characters I'm not going to go over and dignify with time, but you can see the list here. The only ones really worth mentioning, though, top tier, obviously Dormammu and Dr. Doom, amazing standalone characters. And then we have a 3-person synergy here of Morgan Le Fay, Agatha, and Strange Heartless. Now, Morgan is available in the Global Controller trait as well. So what I would say is, depending on how difficult these nodes are or how hard they are for you, don't get her killed, because if you want to make sure that you use her in both sections, same with Dr. Doom, actually, he doubles in both. So those are going to be the two standouts, because you're going to get a lot of value out of them, assuming they survive the level and you have their kind of energy ready for the next level. If you're going to be using them for 4 nodes, then you got to be careful about that one. Otherwise, there is some 3/4 person synergy here. There's Hela, who obviously is, Asgardian, Undying, pretty strong character standalone since the rework. And then you have the Bifrost of Sylvie, Loki, and Teen Loki. So whether or not you need these, we don't know. You might be able to use them as like a Team B or some sort of potential SAC team if you need to. But otherwise, these I would say are probably the best. I do like the Darkhold synergy. There are some other characters in here. I just don't feel that they kind of really do a lot standalone. We have Absorbing Man. Maybe you want to use in the Bifrost group, maybe perhaps as like a plan B. And then Mr. Negative. And Mr. Negative could, if you haven't built, he could be quite good if you have the War Text active, if that's a thing. Otherwise, the other characters, Ebony Maw and Thanos, I'm only putting them there because some people might ask, and they're seriously stat crapped. I don't think you're going to get a lot of value out of them. Their hit points is garbage at this point in time, so I don't see it being very, very good. And of course, some of the other characters here, Juggernaut, Hand, it's just not good. Morbius, Mordo, Nobu. Funny enough, Nobu and Mr. Negative are both Underworld, but that being said, it's just a lot of bad characters here, Ronin. So moving on to, not Brawler, we're going to be doing Global Controller, and that has 36 characters. So Villain Mystic is 24, if you include the hand characters, but Global Controller actually has 36 characters. Now, again, the top tier that I would, say would be Morgan Le Fay, Scarlet Witch, believe it or not, because those people who are going for Big Apocalypse, you're going to have a Gear Tier 17 Scarlet Witch, and while her kit's not super amazing, she does have health redistribution. She does actually a good job in applying debuffs, and she has like a little bit of healing with that special because it heals herself out and then redistributes the health. Also, that would really help in conjunction with Dr. Doom, because if Dr. Doom goes under 50%, right, he gets that turn bar and he gets the extra ability energy, and so with Scarlet Witch, you potentially could keep going up and down to kind of heal him back up. And then you have the Magneto and Dark Beast Death Seed duo, and this is going to be quite strong. There's also Omega Red standalone. So there's 6 characters here I would dub as top tier. If it's a pretty easy node, you could take Scarlet Witch out and just put in Omega Red. Or you could use some of the characters in the usable tab, and there's a lot. But for veteran players, I think that you may have a lot of these built up. But if you're not a veteran player, I'm not saying that you necessarily need to do this. So let's talk about this. There's a 4-person Avenger synergy from different teams. We have Ant-Man and Black Widow, recently reworked as part of Infestation, Vision from Bionic Avengers, Sharon Carter from Secret Avengers, and they all have the Avengers trait. So for Black Widow, giving speed up and buffs like that, that will work for them. Baron Zemo standalone, if his Vortex is active and there happens to be minions, which I somehow doubt, but you never know. And the reason why some of these are listed in this order is because I did it alphabetically, so that's probably why it happened that way. Dazzler standalone, I think she's not very good. I think people are going to try to use her because, again, gear tier 17, she's got some debuffs, but I wouldn't like place her in a top tier like A team. I think possibly you could make a B team here with some X-Men characters because there's also Jubilee and Iceman. I don't know, maybe you can make do with some of these characters. Emma Frost is in here, but she's seriously stat crabbed. If she starts taking any damage at the higher difficulty, she's probably dead. Nakia and Okoye, again, if you built up Wakanda's, might be some value for you there. Taskmaster also might be okay for a sack. Underworld rework standalone character. And then we have Cap and Moonstone who are left over. And beyond this, I just honestly don't think the rest of them are worth mentioning, but I would stick with, for sure, at least 5 out of these 6, but probably these characters you might be able to fit Omega Red in somewhere, depending on how the nodes actually go for you. Also, actually, if there's War Text, Omega Red could be very good as well. He'll get all of his starting passive stuff as well, I think, at the start of that. So it should be pretty good. Just want to show you the list of global controllers. There's a lot. There's a lot more of them anyways, but there's so many not even worth mentioning. Madeline Pryor, I forgot to put Kate Bishop in here. I don't know if Kate Bishop's really that great standalone, to be honest, so I'm not... I'll put her... I don't know. I'll put her, like, in here... because she's standalone as well. But yeah, some people might have her built, obviously, veterans, especially from the Young Avengers days, but there's so many bad characters. You know what? Phoenix is in here. Phoenix might be a very good sack. I forgot to put that in. Let's put that in. Where are we going to put that in? Here. Maybe next to Emma Frost. Like, you might be able to do a sack run with Phoenix because of that Dark Phoenix doing 20% damage to the wave. Actually, I probably should have put next to Jubilee. I thought Iceman was in here. Isn't Iceman in here? Did I delete it by accident? And Iceman. So, yeah, I mean, it could be better. I don't see you're getting a ton of use out of Phoenix. There's just so many other characters on here. And it's a bit of a tease, in a way, because it's giving you so many characters, and this is really bad for people who don't keep up with videos like this, or other people, because it kind of gives you this illusion that some of these characters might be valuable when they actually are not. So... most of these characters are not worth it. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that I'm wrong, or if you think I should, some other characters that deserve to be up here in the green list. Let's talk about Brawlers. Let's just get this out of the way. Okay, so Black Cat and Super Skrull are both Brawlers. If you unlock Black Cat at 400, whatever the 500k or whatever the instant unlock is, you could bring her up and you could use her in her own Scourge. I'm pretty sure you could do that with Nova, so there's probably going to be a lot of value in here. This is very common, even for the Horseman Scourges, where you would do this, you would unlock them and then you would put them into their own team. This happened and they were very good in there, so I expect that to be the same here. Not even going to talk about, I don't even know how many people have Super Skrull, but that's obvious. Otherwise, we're talking about Vol, we're talking about Red Hulk and Abomination, some synergy here, Quicksilver, Deathpool, Shang-Chi, Gamora, and Nebula. Some of the best brawlers, and when there's a second, usually I try to put synergy characters here on the second column here. But yes, a lot of good ones, especially Red Hulk, Abomination, and Vol. This should be a no-brainer. And then there are some additional characters like Quicksilver, who you may have already upgraded from the Nova Scourge, so you might get some good value there. There's some additional characters here, depending on what slots you want to use and the enemies that we get. Quicksilver is pretty good. Sorry, I already said that. Shang-Chi actually is still pretty strong standalone. I want to talk about the usable list, though. Now, Thor, Infinity Watch, and Star-Lord Annihilation are in here. And the reason why I put them in the usable category is because I don't think that people should be using them unless you have to. And I would be cautious. Because there's, any damage that they take in their nodes, any ability cooldowns that get messed around, they're going to have some troubles, I think, unless you're using it to, like, charge up. If you find some way that you can, use this as a way to get their ability energy back to max, that kind of thing. But if they take any additional damage going into another node, which requires nowhere, the 2, 5, 10 kind of thing, then you're going to need to be careful about that. Because, you don't want to walk into a trap here by using them. Now, Valkyrie, I would only use Valkyrie if you're going to be using Vol, but Valkyrie is slow, and so it might be okay. But if there is War Text, There is also synergy with Vol being Asgardian when Valkyrie dies, you know, chucks out a bunch of stuff from War Defense to remember all the safeguard and all those buffs, and Vol could revive Valkyrie. So this could be really interesting in a way to buff up the rest of the characters if you use Vol's revive at the right moment when Valkyrie dies. Some other characters worth mentioning, there's Black Panther and Black Panther 1MM. I don't have Wakandans built. They might be okay in this, but I don't know. I'm not going to personally do this. They might be a little bit better with the war tags if that happens. Then we have a 3-person hero brawler, but Young Avengers synergy with Miss Marvel, Echo, and America Chavez. Now, some people were talking about potentially using Miss Marvel in some of these characters above because of the assists that she gives the buffs to hero brawlers. That could be a thing potentially, but depends on how high build you have for Miss Marvel. And I want to talk about this a little bit. I don't even know. I should just click Brawler. But there we go. There's my Miss Marvel. 182k. So it's mostly her passive, right? Gain assist now on each Young Avenger or Hero Brawler ally's turn. So this could really add up in terms of the damage. And also the assist that you might get from Vol. There might be some good value. I might test this out. But, you know, I haven't kept going with my Miss Marvel, who's only at 182k, which is a lot. But, like, I did stop. I didn't go to Gear Tier 16. I'm at level 87. I don't know why I went to 87. But anyways. And then, of course, she does off-tank, is what I meant to say, you know, when other hero allies drop below 50%. This could get her killed, though, and I'm a little bit concerned about that, though she does also drop her own taunt. So she does have a way to heal herself back up, of course, as well with this. And she does give some buffs, I thought, actually, to hero. No, maybe they changed it. I thought she used to give stat buffs, I thought, to hero brawlers, but maybe that was a long time ago, like pre-Young Avengers, and then it just changed to only Young Avengers. So overall, it might be okay. But I don't think you necessarily need to do this. I think there's a lot of good characters up in this top list that you could probably get away with it. Gamora and Nebula is also still a very strong Infinity Watch duo, and I think that if you have Infinity Watch built, this could be a very good thing too. Otherwise, there's a good selection. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 characters here. Quite a few of them you should have built, at least Vol, Red Hulk, and Abomination at this point. Probably Quicksilver, I think. A lot of people maybe kind of skipped out on upgrading Quicksilver, but I do find that he's coming back and back time and time again in different events, and I am in the process of gearing him up to level 95, and I may put Gear Tier 17 on him. I was someone who did invest in Quicksilver fairly early on. A lot of people were saying that he didn't really have a lot of value because he has the Dark Promotion credits. He's a requirement for that. But I am finding a lot of use in him in the game now, especially at different events and for Cosmic Crucible. And honestly, he's a great plug-and-play character. So I'm going to get some good value out of him. He's going to be on my team, I think, for the Brawlers as well. But that's going to be it. So if I didn't mention it, because Brawlers has a lot. Where's Brawlers? Brawlers here. There's a lot of other characters that I didn't mention at all. Carnage, AIM, Colleen Wing, Corvus Glaive, all the what the hell that Shadowland, Gwenpool, Zombie Iron Man, not great standalone. If there's Hela, fine, but there isn't. Heimdall, what the hell? Moon, you know, like all of there's Shatterstar. Some I didn't mention the Spider-Verse characters because I don't think that there's going to be a lot of value on them. Personally, I actually, you know what, I forgot. So you could put Miles in here. Miles is also Young Avengers, so it's actually, you know, a 4-person Young Avengers synergy, but there's no real healer in here. So that's the problem, is that Vol, you kind of have to. I mean, Vol revives and stuff, but there's no real healers. So this will be interesting to see if this is a big problem or not to get through. And that's what I'm most curious about, is there's no real... Shang-Chi heals a little bit, but not a lot. Otherwise, there's a lot of garbage characters in here, and I just didn't mention them if I didn't need to. I didn't want to give people this false impression that there's characters worth building. So that's going to be everything. Those are all the characters that I think are worth building for the Black Cat event. This table will be up, once I clean it up a little bit, will be up on my Discord channel about 6 to 8 hours as usual after the video goes live, and I will be showing this later on. And if you want to share this around with your alliance, then feel free to do so there on my Discord channel. Otherwise, that's the end of this video, everyone, and until next time tomorrow, we'll be talking about the upcoming event, the new main event that's going to be starting at 2 p.m. tomorrow, in 2 days, rather. But anyways, check out that video, and until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.